people. I heard a message one time years ago, and there are Christians that love God. They say they love God, but they don't like people. They don't love people. And
Mm-hmm.
wow, how can you say you love God and you don't love people?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be around people. You don't want to talk to people. How does that happen? I can't. And I say, well, maybe I'm like that too.
All right, Pastor Leroy Espinoza, thank you for joining me in the den.
Thank you for inviting me, Pastor. It's a honor to be.
Amen. And we're here on a different hour. Estamos aquí at
Tempranito.
5:30 in the morning.
A little bit early.
Normally we record at night. So this is new for me.
So I'm your first guest
Yeah.
at 5:30.
Yeah, you're my first guest at 5:30. Somebody requested a 5:30 a.m. Podcast, and pues aquí estamos a las 5:30 in the morning. ¿Cómo dormiste?
Bien. Not really.
No?
Nah.
I slept pretty good. I went to bed early at about 11:30 or something like that.
That's early, Pastor.
That's very early for me. Extremely early. I was looking at my feed, and I posted something not that long ago, and somebody comments on there, you should not be awake at this hour for a pastor. Le quería dar una cachetada.
Yeah.
I'm like, who are you to be telling me what time to go to bed?
Yeah.
And, but I've never gone to bed early.
Yeah.
As far back as I can remember, I didn't like school because I had to get up real early for school. I mean, I liked school, but I didn't like the having to get up early part. But I've always been a night owl. How about you?
No, yeah, a mí me gusta dormir.
Temprano.
Temprano.
Well, that's true.
Well, these days.
Yeah, these days.
Something.
Ya de viejito.
Sí.
Maybe when I get old también. Maybe when I grow up as old as you, I'll start getting tired earlier.
No, I mean, I think that it's not that I'm tired. It's just, I know that I will need energy for the next day. And man,
so what you're saying is you're wiser. Even when I know I need energy, Pastor, no me duermo. I don't know why. It doesn't make me, if I wake up early, it doesn't make me want to go to bed earlier. Oh. So, sometimes it's like, well, wake up early and then you'll get tired and you'll want to go to bed early. It doesn't make me do that I know.
Not even exercise, because exercise will do that.
Exercise, I don't know anything that makes me want to go to sleep early. My wheels keep turning. My wheels are always turning, and I think that's what makes it difficult. But I did take some a methylation test with Gary Brecka, the times 10 or 10 times whatever health.
Yes.
And I got the results, and I need to see what deficiencies I have as far as my ability to break down certain stuff. Because this is when you have your health can cause you not to go to bed early and to your mind to be racing all the time. And I'm always thinking.
Yeah.
Are you a thinker or
constant?
See,
it's something that I cannot turn off.
Yeah.
There are times when I have, I think more on days that if we're gonna have a function at the church, that's when I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
How's this gonna go? And things like that. I believe God for whatever He wants to do in the things that we're doing at church. But I still have things in my mind that are going through there. Say, okay, we need to make sure we do things right and excellent.
Yeah. I see that when we have big projects
projects.
to that we're preparing for.
See.
The biggest is our men's conference. Man, once we get to around March, yeah, Lufas, Pastor. I'm like,
yes,
it's on my mind constantly.
Yeah.
And you want it to be perfect.
Right.
I'm assuming that it would be that way for everybody, or do you think it's just for pastors?
I think it's just for pastors. I think it's
Los
for
otros para que ni les molesta. Well, I can see that, like people that are part of the ministry,
Right.
part of probably. But do you think in other arenas, other professions, people get caught up like that as well?
I believe so. I think that we put pressure on ourselves more than anything. I say that because of my experience with the work that I used to do, and even in ministry, I see how preparing for something, it's easier from outside.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll give you an example. If somebody's taking care, I used to work for a Majesty outdoors, and there was always preparation for Tuesday for the kids,
Mm-hmm.
the lesson, everything that we had to prepare. And it was difficult to manage different things for that lesson, and how my mind was always going. Now, I'm no longer there, but I can go back and I teach and I could do it, and it's
On a whim. On a whim.
on a whim.
Yeah.
Como say nada.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, I put the pressure on myself.
We put the pressure on ourselves. So when I started pastoring back in 2000, before that I was a youth pastor for about a year and a half, algo así. And at that time, I would prepare a message for Fridays, which was our youth service.
Mhm.
And, we had teachings on Wednesdays and
Right.
Sunday school on Sundays. But I think we usually had curriculum or something for that.
Mhm.
So all I had to do was get something ready for Friday night for youth service. And when it came to youth, man, if I couldn't get a message together, Pastor, I would just have a conversation. Gather them around the altar. Hey, let's have a conversation about this topic. And it was youth. It was very enjoyable for me, and we got involved in a lot of things as the youth. Our youth ministry grew very well. But when I started pastoring, it was like the weight of souls, of the souls that were with me were now on my shoulders.
Yes.
And I think I went through like a mild case of depression. If I did, I don't know. I think maybe. I remember a couple instances where I felt like I was the only person on the face of the earth, even in a room full of people.
Wow.
Ugly feeling. That's why I have some compassion for people that say they suffer with depression.
Yeah.
I have some compassion on that because it wasn't a nice feeling, but it was temporary. I was I was a Christian, obviously. I was pastoring.
Right.
It was temporary, and God ministered to me in different ways on that. That once He did, I never felt that ever again. But it was a brief moment in time.
Mm.
One of my biggest stresses and weights was having to have a message ready for the people, because now I am responsible for feeding these people spiritually. So I went from a Friday message at that, maybe,
Mhm.
if I had to Sunday morning, Sunday night,
Yes.
Wednesday night,
Right.
and Friday night, because I was doing the youth at the same time I was pastoring the church. And we started over here on Kansas Street. I think it was 1017 Kansas, algo así. And that was very difficult. So Saturdays were my worst days. No salía. I would stay at home, kind of like lock myself up until I got a message together. And it was so stressful. And the weight was horrible.
I imagine.
Yeah. And I was like, this can't be it. And at some point, God ministers to me and says, if I don't give you a message, there's nothing for you to say. So if he didn't give me a message, then all I have to do is come out here and say, hey guys, God didn't give me a message this week. But at the same time, I understood, well, God's not going to do that.
Right.
So that means he's going to give me a message.
Yes.
I started relaxing some. It was still a weight of having to put a message together for the people and feeding them accurately and appropriately. But you have to get into your rhythm and into your into the way you receive from God and how your personality is, if you will, in preparing a message. I know pastors that start on Mondays to get ready for Sunday.
Right.
That's not me. If that were me, I'd have too much, and it would be so complicated. God has really refined me to a point where he'll give me a message, and I'll put it down. I don't have time to switch it up too much. Right. It's like, this is it. How was your experience in preparing messages?
Well, so I've heard you talk about your scholastic, the academics and things that you do.
You're going to use a big word, Pastor. Está bien, scholastic.
Scholastic systems. But I think that, there are people that are okay with putting things together and writing and things. I'm not that guy. I've never had, and academically, I've never been good. Or as far as I was concerned, I didn't know how to write. I didn't know how to write anything. Papers, it was stressful to me all the time. And when I first started putting messages together, it was like I was in school again. And I just wanted to give up.
Quit.
I don't want this. I think that's why, it was hard for me at first. But then I heard you one day say that, the message that putting it together on Saturdays, and it was stressful, and I kind of God was showing me the same thing, something similar, and don't worry about it. I'm gonna be there. I'll meet you wherever you go. And to me, that was saying, hey, you just put something together, and I'm gonna meet you, and I'll give you what you need, the words, everything that you need. I'll be there. Just open your mouth. And it's been that way.
Yeah.
I do, sometimes Joanna will come in and, did you prepare the message? And I've been preparing. I'm not writing things down, right? But throughout the week, God's showing me some things.
Right.
And I'm listening to people and listening to, whatever they're preaching and reading the Bible. And God's already preparing that. So when I go up there and have my notes, and it's like, okay, God's going to meet me here. I don't have to worry. Of course, I still get nervous and all that kind of thing, but I don't have to worry about what the message is, because it's what He wants. I always pray that none of the message is from me, because nobody wants to know what I know. They want to know what God knows. They want to know about God. And so whatever the word is, that's what I'm going to say. Whatever He's telling me to say.
And that's what we're supposed to do. And always ask God, okay, what do you want to say to the people? All we are the messengers. And people can get caught up in thinking that we're the source, that we're trying to get an agenda across. It's really not. Anybody that's doing it authentically and genuinely,
yes,
they go to God and ask God, obviously it's going to be different through different people, which is why God uses different vessels,
Yes.
because he wants the uniqueness of every different vessel. Because whatever he pours out to, even the same message,
Yes.
it's going to have a different sound, a different flavor coming from me than it does from you, than it does from somebody else.
Yes.
Not necessarily better or worse, just different. And he'll use who he needs to use for the audience that he has set before him. And we're here in Robstown, and we've been ministering to Robstown for 25 years plus. And Robstown is a very unique audience.
Yes.
What has been your experience with the audience of Robstown?
Robstown.
Yeah. And when I say audience, I mean it's the people that God has put us over to pastor, whether they know it or not, whether they like it or not.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, God has called us to pray over this area of it and to speak to it.
Yes, definitely. I think it's been interesting because I grew up in Robstown. This is my home. Robstown is near and dear to my heart, and I believe that we were here for a season so that we can share the gospel with the people here. You know, I go out there throughout the years. There has been so many things that God has placed in my heart, but the biggest thing is to love people. Loving. Love God, love people. I heard a message one time years ago, and there are Christians that love God. They say they love God, but they don't like people. They don't love people. Like, wow, how can you say you love God and you don't love people? You don't want to be around people. You don't want to talk to people. How does that happen? I can't. And I say, well, maybe I'm like that too. Start thinking about it. I say, man, I want to be the guy that just loves God and loves people too. Porque God loved me no matter where I was, what I did, and he still loved me. And why can't I do that? Show me how to love like you, is what I said. I asked God one day, show me.
Yeah.
He's still doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I believe that no matter how much I love, I can't love like God yet. I can't love like he does. I can love, and I do genuinely love people, no matter where they're coming from. It could be anybody. I love people.
That's contrary to what a lot of people sometimes think of the church. You know what I mean? Some people, because the message of the gospel is a stepping stone to some, but it's a stumbling block to others.
Yes.
And to those who it is a stumbling block is because it interferes with their way of life. It interferes with their thinking or their lifestyle or what have you. But it actually interferes with all of our lives.
Right, for sure.
People I think sometimes think we're born as pastors or Christians, we're born already inclined to want to live the Bible life.
Right.
But that's not accurate. You know, we're born in the flesh. The scripture says that in the flesh is all the ability for all sin, or how can I say it? I want to say it accurately, but I'll say it like that. The ability to act out in all sin is in the flesh.
Right.
The desire for all, it's there. In other words, in the right circumstances, backed up into the right corner, something may come out if you're not in line with where God wants you to be and have not made the right preparations for you to be able to respond the way God would want you to respond when it comes to the circumstances of life. So we preach the gospel, and a lot of people would think, well, that's not love.
Right.
Because it's not accepting of what I think. Or
yes.
Well, the gospel is not accepting of the way I feel or think. most of the time either.
Yeah.
But we have to line ourselves up with the Word of God. And as pastors, we're delivering this message. So we are made to seem sometimes like we're not loving or what
Right.
have you. But
Right.
actually, the only reason that we do preach that is because we do love God. We do
Yes.
love people.
We do.
Or if we didn't, we wouldn't care what you
Right.
did.
It didn't matter. It wouldn't matter. And I think the biggest thing that I see about that is about love, loving people is most have not experienced true love.
Mhm.
And it's hard for them to say, yes, they can. Que se trae, you know, why is he using love? What is love? So they don't understand it. So a lot of times there's a lot of things, backlash or whatever, and because of this love that we're trying to share with people, it's the
Mhm.
love of God. And it's like, no, I don't want that. I
Mm.
don't know what that is.
Right.
Get away from me. I don't want to hear that. But when they see that there is genuine love, I've been, in situations where people don't like me because of that. I love people. I love God. I'm bad. It's the guy,
Mhm.
But because I feel like they have not experienced love.
Right.
They don't know what love is.
Well, nowadays we got a lot of people that have only experienced a mother's love,
True.
which is acceptance of everything.
Yes.
Mi hijo no quebra ningún plato.
Right.
My child cannot do anything wrong.
Yeah.
They say, he's got a face only a mother can love. It means that the mother is blinded to any faults, and
Right.
for the most part, they're not
Right.
dumb like moms
Right.
know, but
Yeah.
they overlook all of that.
Yes.
They're nurturing and caring and all that. And a father's love is more authoritative. It's more disciplinary. It's more correcting
Yes.
and brings correction. So that's supposed to balance each other out. But when you only have mama's love, right?
Mhm.
Man, a child will do no wrong,
Right.
right? So there will not be correction because I don't want to hurt mijo's feelings or mija's feelings, and they are mothered, which that's fine. That's how God created. That's
Sure.
why He made the mom and the dad, because the dad's supposed to bring the correction. But when dad's not in the house, in the home, in the family, which is way more common today than it used to be when we were growing up. But when dad's not there, they never experience that disciplinary love, that correcting love.
Right.
And the Bible says about that love that it doesn't feel good always because it brings chastening. And chastening doesn't feel good, but it produces the fruits of righteousness. And the world is missing that, especially our country.
Sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Entonces, that being said, my dad loved me so much. No, pues sí, no. I mean, there was discipline at the home. My dad was in home. Parents got divorced when I was 13, maybe they got separated. So up until to that time, I was disciplined. I mean, it's grew up in the 80s, so it was one of those things where you hear nowadays on TikTok or whatever social media that you see, well, the lights go out and you're going home.
Mhm.
That's time to go home.
Right.
The lights or a whistle,
Sí.
and you're coming home and there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Leroy!
Sí, así. Estaba en la casa.
See, go ahead.
But you know what? And even at that, the neighbors, hey, te habla tu ama, let's go.
Sí.
And they're like, no, I just want to be. No, they called you.
Mhm.
And it was okay
Yeah.
for the neighbors,
To
the
send you
parent
home.
to say, hey, vámonos. There's, nowadays you can't tell kids, other people's kids, anything.
Yeah, and
So
it's a tough world. When I was growing up, I remember the barrio. I lived 925 Iowa in Casablanca. Best of times, right? It was the 80s.
I lived on Iowa, actually.
See?
You said 920?
925.
I lived a little bit towards the corner.
Oh, see?
By Messer.
Really?
Second house. On Messer and Iowa, there was a little house.
To the east side or west side?
On
On
the
the 900
west.
block?
On the 900.
Really?
Yeah.
Éramos neighbors?
Éramos neighbors.
Man, well, back in the day, I remember roaming the callejones,
Mhm.
which for people who don't know what a callejon is, the alleys, right? In Robstown, we had like little roads that were the alleys.
Yeah.
And we'd go shooting birds. Somebody had a BB gun, some fortunate
Yeah.
soul
Yeah.
and kid on our block that, their parents had a little bit of
A
money or
little bit.
something, not too much, but a little bit. They got them a BB gun and we'd
Yes.
be out, or a pellet gun, and we'd be out in the alleys and shooting birds. So, one of the biggest things on our mind back then was, can you eat a robin?
Right. Right.
The palomas you could eat.
Yeah.
Can you eat a robin? Because my dad was like, you better not. Whatever you shoot or kill, you're going to eat.
Yeah.
So you better make sure it's edible. So those are the complications of our life. But we'd go blocks and blocks.
Right.
And our parents never knew where we were at.
No.
They didn't seem concerned about it because I guess they didn't have to be concerned back then about where we were.
They didn't have to. I remember after school, my parents both worked. So
Mhm.
after school, we got out at 3:30 or whatever, and they weren't home till 5, after 5 maybe, and so we wouldn't go home. I wouldn't go home. When I was going to Lots Beach, I would walk home. I was living at 505 Jackson Street
Mhm.
back those days, going to Lots Beach, and there's a some s- drains, storm drain or
Mhm.
whatever they're called, and water accumulated there, and we would go out there and fish. But no hay pescados. There's no
Right.
fish. We
Oh,
didn't know
you'll
that
catch
back then.
something.
We didn't know that back then, but then we would look for the crawfish.
Oh, yeah.
Estamos pescando crawfish
Mhm.
all along there,
Mhm.
from Lots Beach all the way to Lincoln Street.
Mm.
That ditch that's right there in the corner. Outside.
For me, Pastor, when I think about my childhood, I think of it as a huge span of time.
Mhm.
Una eternidad, like it was an eternity. Like
Yeah.
there were so many aspects of my childhood that I don't remember it all, right? But I
Right.
remember lots of it,
Yeah.
lots of chunks.
Yeah.
When I think about my girls' childhood, I feel like it was a blink.
Pronto. Yes.
Like it was like boom, yeah. And I'm like, how is that possible?
Right.
Because I remember it like it was forever. And it was amazing. I really have great memories of my childhood. Not everybody does, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
I had great memories of my childhood. And I can't understand how that is a thing, how my childhood felt. And I've
Like it
always
was a lot.
felt that. I've always thought that it was a long length of time, great span.
Mhm.
But not my daughters. I feel like it
Yeah.
was a blink and we're already grown. Do you sense that? Is it just for us 80s kids?
No,
Or?
no. I think that's true but for me, I think I don't remember a lot. I do remember family time. I do remember things like that, but there was some things that I'd rather not remember, and I think I just blocked those things out.
You have a
And
rough childhood?
it was, I would wake up, like I mentioned, my parents got divorced when I was younger. Uh, I want to say it was 13, 12, 13, maybe. And, pero siempre, um, going to sleep, there was fighting. Waking up in the morning, there was fighting. So, it was just tough. And I would run away. I would run away, and when my parents would fight, me iba para arriba del techo. I would climb up to the roof, and I just sit there and to see if anybody was gonna follow me. Nadie me quiere. I felt because nobody was looking for me,
Mhm.
and I would just sit there, and I don't know that I was praying, but I was talking to somebody,
Mhm.
and I'm sure that's what it was, prayer,
Mhm.
talking to God. Like nobody wants me here. Why am I here? I would be on the roof for a long time. God. And then so at times I would go and I would look in the window. Are they even looking it for me?
Mhm.
And no, no, hey, they're going around along,
With
their
life.
business or life or whatever.
Yep.
And so sometimes that because of that, I feel like some of the things that I've experienced, pues no me acuerdo mucho. I don't
Mm.
remember a lot, but I do remember little. It's weird because I remember things that happened when I was even at 3 years old,
Oh, yeah.
4 years old,
Mhm.
5, and it's experiences that I don't even know why I remember. It's insignificant when I think about it. Why do I remember this? And I don't know, but I remember.
I remember little bits and pieces of my me being 3 years old.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's weird, weird. But me growing up, I had a lot of those types of experience that dreams happening, real things. I had a dream when I was maybe 10 about my grandma passing away. She was in a coffin, a pink coffin, purple dress or whatever. And years later, at 18, I think I was 18, she passed away. And she was in a pink casket in that same dress.
Hmm.
And I don't know what, it just popped in my head like, hey, I had that dream that my grandma passed away and she was in that same dress
Mhm.
in that casket. And I saw her. It must have been 11.
What do you think God wants to do with those memories in our life? Because
Mhm.
we're here for a moment.
Right.
Scriptures we're a vapor. I'm not trying to like
Yeah.
bum anybody out, but we're here but for a vapor.
Right.
And yet like we have these memories. We have like recently I started thinking of if only God would allow us to go back in time
Right.
just to observe a day in our lives, just to see what it was like from
Hmm.
observing it. I would love to be able to do that. And somebody said, but maybe it wasn't the way you remember it.
Right.
Maybe you remember it a certain way, but things were playing out totally different than what you remember.
Right.
And for whatever reason, like God lets us remember certain things. Like my memory
Yes.
of it being 3 years old is I had little trunks with a little lightning bolt
Uh-huh.
on it.
Uh-huh.
And I remember Shazam. That's all I remember
Yes.
about those
Shazam.
little shorts. And we had a pool in our
Hmm.
apartment complex, and I would swim on the step, and I would swim
Mm.
across the pool on the step to the other
Right.
side and back. It was just
Just a little
rectangles.
strip.
So back and forth, back and forth. I remember that. And I remember that,
Yeah.
at least in my mind, I was unsupervised at times at 3 years old at the pool.
Solito.
Maybe somebody was there, but I don't remember that being there. And I'm like, I don't know why I remember that. I don't remember what happened after. I
Right.
just remember being swimming there. So all those things,
Yeah.
man, life is
And
in
that's kind of the same thing for me because I think I remember at 3 or 4 years old we getting excited because we planted some carrots and we lived in Iowa at that time. My mom said, "Hey, let's plant carrots," and I remember planting them, and I remember waking up and saying, "Are they already big?" Yeah.
mm,
No, you gotta wait, gotta wait, gotta wait. Y me decía, and I would wake up and are they ready? No, they're not ready. And so the carrots, yeah, it was a big thing for me, I guess, because I still remember the
the
carrots.
carrots.
Y ya salió, it sprouted, and it was getting bigger and bigger. You know, and I could see it, and I wanted to pull them already. No, don't pull them yet. It's not ready. I don't know why I remember that.
Those memories, they mark us somehow.
For sure.
You were saying about your parents. you going to bed with them fighting. I mean,
Yes.
I had memories like that too. I don't know why that was so common back then. Parents fighting at night like that, and dads being so aggressive
Right.
towards their wives.
Mhm.
And because I did experience that, and I don't think they realize how it affects their children. Now, as adults, we understand.
Yeah.
But how was that affecting you as a kid? I'll share how
So
it affected me, but I'll let you share first.
so yeah, I had a so again, throughout my childhood, and it wasn't every day. It was here and there. But it seems like now
Right.
looking back, seems like it
It's
was
often.
every day, all the time, constant fighting, and it affected me in the sense that first of all, I just wanted to sleep. But I couldn't sleep because are they gonna fight? Are they gonna get, are they gonna split up? Are we ever gonna have? Am I gonna have a family anymore? And I would get excited when my dad would say, "Hey, El Sábado, we're gonna go to the park, or we're gonna go do this," and I would get excited because that meant that we were still be together.
Mhm.
Next week, we're gonna, you know, uh, Theo invited us over here to the ranch or whatever, and we're gonna go. Okay, great. That means we're still gonna be together. So it affected me a lot, and it I couldn't concentrate sometimes. At school I wasn't that, good at school. Um and as a matter of fact, I would fall asleep, especially in, I believe it was 4th grade, and my 4th grade teacher, I think she knew something was happening cuz she would let me sleep.
Mm.
She would dismiss everybody to PE y ahí me dejaba. Ahí estaba dormido con toda la baba.
Mhm.
with, you know, with my head on the desk, and uh I wake up scared, hey, where is everybody? And I would look up and she would be there, and just, it's okay, don't worry, just, you can stay there. And I remember crying one day because she asked me, is everything okay? No, it's not.
Mm.
But I was afraid of saying anything. But I had to, uh she asked the right questions.
Mhm.
She was very um, delicate with how she approached me, and things like that. And I remember she was very nice teacher. Was awesome teacher. I think she's the only one that ever, I felt like, ever cared. And she let me sleep because she knew something was wrong,
Mm.
because I couldn't sleep. I would go to sleep. They were fighting. Wake up 6 o'clock, 5:30. They were fighting. And like, man, it was taking a toll. But at that point, I decided at, I don't know how old I was, 9, 10, 12. I don't remember. No, I think it was 9. I said, my children will never experience that physical abuse, you know, emotional. They'll never experience it. Statistically, that happens, right? Fathers abuse an abuser, and the son is abuser.
Cycle.
It's a cycle. It continues. I said, not stops here. I'm not gonna do that. My children will never see me hit their mother. It's gonna stop, and that's what happened. Never
Mhm.
have done that ever.
Mhm.
No matter um, how angry I may get. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that parents realize how they affect their children. But even when you're conscious of it,
Mhm.
your your need to address certain things and to do your thing overrides, I think, the children because we're selfish
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And we can't always control all
Right.
circumstances, right?
Right.
All conditions that. But I know the feeling that you're saying, like, hey, when on Saturday we're going to the park, like,
Yes.
oh wow.
Right.
When my
Yeah.
dad would get up and go to church with us on Sunday, even though I didn't want to go to church
Right.
when I was a kid because it was all Spanish and all that.
Yeah.
When my dad said, "Hey, we're all gonna go," it was like,
Yes.
man, this is gonna be a great
It's gonna be
day.
awesome. Right. Right.
And I don't know that. So that was an anxious moments. Those were anxious moments in our life. Today, that is happening. It's a, it's an epidemic,
Oh
right?
yes.
Fatherlessness, and you've worked with
Mhm.
um, Majesty
Magic.
Outdoors, which is a ministry that ministers to fatherless children.
Yes.
So that is happening way too often. Our
Yes.
fears and our worst nightmares are a reality
Yes.
to all those to many kids. And I think it's sad, and I think we don't give it the thought that we should be
Right.
giving it. That there's children that are missing their dads,
Oh yes.
and I know when your parents got divorced. Some people say, "No, I was relieved when my parents got divorced." I don't think so.
Right.
Maybe there was some form of relief,
Some.
but something gets broken whenever there's divorce, right?
Oh yes. Yes, and I think um when I got married, Joanne and I um got married when I was 17. She was 16. And I think that was because of my parents. Um Separation, divorce or whatever. I needed family. I thought, at that time I need somebody to love, somebody to be there for me. I didn't think my parents were there because it was go tell your dad, go tell your mom. They lived in separate towns. All this. I stopped going to school. I did my own thing, and at that time I thought it's a great idea. Let's get married. But to
That'll
be
fix
honest,
everything.
yeah, that'll fix everything because family is everything. Yeah, it is. But at 16, 17 years old, it's tough. It's tough growing together as a husband and wife because you still want to do things that kids are doing that at that age, but you know that you have a responsibility. I I don't know where. I mean, there were people in my life, including my dad, of course, teaching about responsibility to your family to a certain degree. Because I mean, if he would have thought responsibility, he wouldn't be doing what he was doing.
Mhm,
But in a sense, he still provided. He still, he did those things work because that's what you do as a man. So I learned those things. I have to provide. I have to be there for my family and things like that. And uh, but then there's the other. You learn uh, what not to do, and that's what I. That's how I learn the things that I do now. Okay, I'm not supposed to do that. We shouldn't do. And I'm not gonna hit my wife. I'm not
mhm,
gonna do those things, and I'm not gonna be doing whatever I want out there. I need to be with family. Those are the
mhm,
things that I've learned what not to do. From my family, and I believe that that's a lot of what happens in within my family because my dad had 17 siblings, and every single family member, his family, they've gone through some situations similar to that. And it's like I don't know why did everybody go through that? I don't know.
mhm,
Like divorce, like infidelity, uh, you know, people, uh, the husbands hurting their wives, their children, things like that. And it happened. I don't know.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, it's important for us to look at all those things, especially as pastors, and one of our focuses here at the Bridge Church and of my ministry, and that you're a big part of, is men's ministry.
Yes.
We see the importance of men getting ministered to. A lot of times, men get overlooked in churches.
Right.
Not everywhere, of course, but just in general, they can get overlooked a lot. And we began a men's conference many moons ago. I don't
Yes.
even know how many years ago. It's been over 12 years, I think,
Oh, yes.
where we've been ministering to men.
Yes.
And once a year, we have our men's conference. And throughout the year, here at the church, we have our men's
Men's day.
den and our men's breakfast. And we experience growth, and then we
Yes.
experience decline. We
Yes.
experience growth, but we've been consistent.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about Alice in a little bit as well. But what is your greatest sense of urgency when it comes to ministering to man, and why it's so important to us, and that God has put in our path and in our spirit to minister to
To
men?
men.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's important that men understand the responsibility that's been placed on us. And I think that we take it for granted, like, está bien, whatever. Uh, the wife will take care of it, or the ladies will take care of it. But it's time for us men to rise up and say, no, we have to take the
Mhm.
position that God has placed us in.
Mhm.
And it's not so we can rule. It's not that. It's the responsibility.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people, when you start talking about, well, uh, uh, manhood and serving men or whatever, a men's ministry, they think, hombre, estos, they're, they're gonna ser, tough or whatever. That's not it. For us,
Mhm.
it's not it. I mean, we're not the world. We're not like the world.
Mhm.
We know that there is a responsibility for man.
Mhm.
And because of that, you have to know when to be a little bit tough and when to be nurturing
Gentle.
or
Mhm.
gentle. Or, you have to learn. It doesn't come easy
Mhm.
because people would see you as, dictator or whatever, but you're not trying to. You're just making sure that your family understands that we're going to follow what God says.
Mhm.
And this is what God says. We're not
Mhm.
going to do those things. We're no longer there. We're no longer of the world.
Right.
So we're not going to do that. And, ay, qué malo. ¿Por qué no lo
Mhm.
dejas?
Mhm.
The first time when we stopped, when I realized that Halloween was wrong, like we shouldn't partake in those types of things, we stopped going, to in the streets or whatever. And Josie was 9, and the family, cuando no les importaba, whenever,
Mhm.
it didn't matter what you did until you stopped taking your child Halloween
Trick or
trick or
treating.
treating. They say, "Qué malo eres tú, ¿por qué no lo llevas?"
Mhm.
It's something for the kids, y que no sé qué.
Mhm.
¿Y qué te queda? Now you're interested in what we're doing.
Mhm.
Now that I want to make everything in my family better by choosing God, now it's something that bothers you. I don't
Mhm.
understand that
Right.
because I'm doing for my children, for better.
Yeah. It shines a light
Mhm.
on their in unwillingness to line up with what God wants for them as well.
Mhm.
But you're not even telling them to do it. You're
Right.
doing it.
Right.
But
I'm
in you
it's me.
doing it, it's kind of shining a light on them. And it's like, what are you saying? There's something wrong with us?
Right.
It's like, well, you choose who you will serve. It's like what
Yes.
Joshua said,
Yeah.
choose for yourself this day whom you will serve. But
Yes.
as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
Mhm.
And we have to do that. Obviously, as pastors, we preach the gospel, we preach the word. Then you got to determine what you're going to do with that.
Yes.
I used to worry so much that people would do what we were preaching, right? What I
Mhm.
was preaching, and at some point, God says, like, chill.
Yeah.
You can only preach it. You can only tell them what I'm telling you to tell them.
Yes.
And then you got to practice it. You got to put it in. And that's not always easy either.
Yes,
You know,
right.
when we preach, God's preaching to us first,
Primero.
and it hits hard.
Yeah.
So we've got to also line ourselves up. We're not preaching to the people, we're preaching to us,
Yeah.
as a whole. And then we got to go and actually do it as well. And it's not easy. So, but I can only oversee what I have to do.
Yes.
I can't do it for anybody else. I can't be looking over their shoulder. Are you doing what I have to worry about? Making sure that I am doing what God is asking me to do.
Yes.
So once we preach, I heard a preacher say, I preach, I wash my hands of it.
Yeah.
I walk out and I go do what I got to do.
Mhm.
But I can't be in everybody's home and everybody's
Right.
private life, making sure that they're doing what they got to do. So as a pastor, it's a different world.
Yeah, it is. They're very different.
Mhm.
But, going back to that question of men ministering to men, I still, because everybody's going to be different. All the thing with me is that I started reading the word, and not just reading it, applying the word, put it in my heart. And that's when I said, I need to serve God in
Mhm.
every way that He wants. But I got a connection now. I'm connected to God. I have
Mhm.
a relationship with God.
Mhm.
Uh, Most of the time, men say, "Yes, I read. I this." But when we have a connection, when we have a relationship, a true relationship with God, I think we would do anything that He says in
Mhm.
His Word, and I'm going to follow what He says
Mhm.
because He's my friend. He's
Right.
my everything. He's my source for anything that I need, and I know I can trust, I can rely, and I can count on God
Mhm.
for whatever I need. And so, why wouldn't I do what He wants? If
Mhm.
He's saying we're going to raise up man, we need to raise up man. We had the uh, prophet come and he talked about raising sons. That stuck with me.
Mhm.
I want to raise sons.
Right.
Sons que no se van a ir. They're
Right.
gonna
Right.
stick with what the vision that God has placed at the Bridge Church,
Mhm.
and so that way we can go out and minister. Ahorita estamos, yeah, we're learning, we're getting the tools, we're getting everything that we need, but have we gone out there to reach out to other men?
Mhm.
We talk about our childhood. We talked about our, upbringing and things like that. And I think that was a preparation for me through my life. It was a preparation, getting me ready for what may or may not come. And these days, there's children, there's youth that are going through so much without fathers. Is how do we minister to that if they don't know what a father is?
Mhm.
But the preparation that I went through, because I had my father till a certain point, and then I didn't have. I was on my own. I did whatever I
Mhm.
wanted. So I've, I've been through both, with a father, without a father, in my childhood, and so that was a preparation, I believe,
Mhm.
and so that I have compassion,
Mhm.
because a lot of times you hear people, "I'm besos huercos," but you don't understand. They don't have a father.
Right.
They live with their grandparents. They
Mhm.
get to do whatever they want, and there's no compassion.
Mhm.
Dicen, "Ah, mira, no son buenos," but they are good.
Mhm.
They're good children. They're good youth. They are. They just misdirected.
Mhm.
They're misguided. They don't have purpose, and so we have to come alongside them as men. So, bueno, it doesn't matter. They're not my kids. Yeah, but it's still a responsibility as a
Mhm.
man. to teach, to guide, to lead. I mean, if we don't, who will? We'll be gone. I say, think about people in Robstown. I love Robstown. Robstown is my home, and it's always going to be my home. I may live wherever I live, but I'm Robstonian through and through, right? And I love the people here, and I'm going to continue to try to reach out as many as people as possible. And you think, well, they don't want to hear you. That's okay. I'm still going to do it, no matter what.
Yeah. We've made strides, I think, in the lives of men and in men's ministry. You know, I often get approached by men, and they say, "Hey, this happened at the conference. This is what God did."
Yes.
You know, at the conference this year, particular year, the men's conference, God, did away with this in my life, or moved me into this, or I started this after this conference, this conference, this conference. So that inspires us to keep moving and to keep growing in that area. So you've been with us, and you've overseen our men's ministry for several years, and you operated under in the church as associate pastor.
Yes.
And then back in 2021, we had a minister come in, Prophet Angel Martinez. He came in and he ministered in a very unique way.
Yes.
And he gave us a prophetic word that we would have baby churches. Right? We start baby churches. It's funny to me because we had a conversation the previous night with your wife, and she mentioned to me baby churches. And I was kind of like, oh, okay. So he's like, okay, sure. Baby, who even says baby churches?
Yeah.
So the next night, he calls her up and he's ministering to her, and he says, and there will be baby churches. And she turned around, looked at me, and I was like, what in the world? So he mentioned a few places, and Alice was one of those places. At the beginning of last year, 2025, God started putting in our spirit that it was time for you to go and searching that out, and we thought about starting a church, and then God put in my spirit, no, there's already a lot of churches. Go see if there's anybody that needs a pastor, or how you can merge or whatever. So we tried doing that for a little bit, but nothing was popping up, so we let it rest.
Right.
And it just rested. We didn't have no conversation about it for a little bit, and then all of a sudden I get a phone call, and within a matter of a couple weeks, I think, we went from a conversation on the phone to pastoring another church in Alice.
Yes.
So now we have the Bridge Church in Alice, and you've been there now for how many months has it been? Since May, the last
it was the end of May. Yeah.
So June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. We're going on the ninth month. So
9 months.
9 months. That's interesting. So
A baby church.
A baby church. Mira nomás.
Yeah.
And you've been out there since then. You have not
still
been
feeling the birth pain.
The birth pains. And there's been situations that have taken place that I have to say, well, welcome to the pastorship, Pastor.
I see.
But you have not been at the Bridge Robstown in a church service here since then. And I was thinking about that. I was like, wow, that's got to be shocking a little bit, and culture shock and shock, because you've been taken out of the family that you were in and being placed somewhere else.
Yes.
So maybe in a womb, if you will.
Yes.
I know incubating, and now you've been brought into this position as a pastor out there. I know it's not easy. It never is. Working with people, it's the best thing that you'll ever experience is working with people, but it's the hardest thing as well. And I know this coming Sunday you'll be ministering here. So by the time this airs, you will have ministered in Robstown and been in the Robstown service for the first time in 9 months.
I'm excited, Pastor.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
That's good. Yeah. I'll be in Alice. Of course, I'm in Alice the last Sunday of every month.
Yes.
The last Sunday morning of every month. I'm over there every Sunday evening. But what is God doing in Alice? Before we close and close off this podcast, what is God doing in Alice?
So you mentioned that baby churches, ¿verdad? And that came, of course, from God. I mean, I truly believe that God spoke to Joanna about that, and that was confirmation through the prophet that, and he even said it 3 weeks ago. You know, that was me, God talking that they're going to be that the Bridge Church is a womb, and there will be baby churches coming from the Bridge Church and Bridge Church Alice, Bridge Church
Corpus and Kingsville. So the
Kingsville,
ones he mentioned by
all over
name.
South Texas. I believe that's what he said, all over South Texas. And so I believe that God was speaking then. I didn't realize that it was we were going out there and or where we were going. Yes, it has been a culture shock. It's been a little bit difficult. It's one of those bittersweet things that has happened because I believe that we are supposed to be there. But of course we're connected here, and so it's a little bit strange, a little bit hard because we're not with a family anymore. We're creating a new family.
Right.
And God said, like he said, baby churches. He said recently, we're coming from service. Great service Wednesday. He said, I'm not finished yet. There's more baby churches coming. And I believe it.
And I believe it too. And people get excited about stuff like that, but it's now you got to wake up early.
Yes.
Because they're crying.
Right. Yeah.
They need a diaper change. They're hungry.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about
Yeah,
I'm talking about the necessities and making an analogy of that. And that is true. Now you got a totally different responsibility on your hand with the baby that is lifelong.
Yes.
It doesn't end at 2 years old. It doesn't end at 18 years old.
Yeah.
It's forever. It's lifelong. And that's what's happening.
Yeah.
But you're creating something new that will eventually stand on its own, but still will always need you, right? Always be connected to you. One of the things that we do with the church is that we've placed a pastor there. And I believe that that's what God is wanting to do whatever he's going to, however he's going to do it with new churches, that there will be an actual pastor at that church that is pastoring the people, ministering to them. So we've taken it as a responsibility to build up ministers, and we have our preaching, teaching class and different things like that to build up ministers that we'll be able to send out and actually go and pastor a church, because it's a lot of work. And it needs to get done. And of course, there's a lot of great churches out there. Yes. Even in Alice, there's a lot of great churches out there. We're seeing God do a lot of, and it's amazing to see the community, the Christian community out there.
Yes.
But there's far too many souls to say that's enough. We've reached our cap. Not even close. There's so much to be done out there, and I think as a united effort, we'll be able to do a lot out there.
Yeah.
And then in the places to come.
Oh, definitely. I think that the people of Alice are really good people. I believe that, I truly believe that the saying, Alice es buena gente.
Es buena gente.
Es buena gente. But I think we're not looking in the right place. I believe that if there are good people, we just need to get Jesus to them.
Oh, yeah.
Preach Jesus.
It's a very unique place because of its location. It's self-sustaining. They don't have to leave.
Right.
Like Robstown se va a Corpus because it's so close. So it's not self-sustaining. Like we don't have shopping centers. We don't have it, anything like that here. Yeah. Over there they are, because there's the distance they are from Corpus or the Valley or Laredo. They are starting to grow within itself, and it's a very unique community. I really enjoy going over there and being part of it. But I'm very excited about what God has called us to do there. I mean, He's already given us a vision and stuff
Yeah.
for future growth.
Mhm.
And it's sometimes people will look at where you are now to determine your future, right? But the reality is you can't judge it by that,
No.
right? We've been growing, but there are growing pains and there's changes and things like that out there. But you sense it in the atmosphere that there is
Yes.
amazing
Right.
growth and the vision that God has put in your spirit. You're not deterred
Right.
by any of those growing pains.
Right.
You're
Right.
actually inspired and motivated that it's going to be okay because God's already shown us this. So
Yeah.
it's exciting to be out there.
It is. It is. I'm excited. I think that there are things that are happening in Alice and I'm experiencing some things that I have never experienced before as a pastor, and I'm like, where is this coming from? But I know it's God.
Mhm.
Some of the ministering that happens, some of the things that uh, the Holy Spirit just takes over sometimes. And the other day we had service and we were worshiping God, and I just felt strongly in my spirit that we needed to worship, continue to worship. I said, church, let us continue to worship because He's here, and He's going to do something. And I didn't hear anything like audible or anything like that. I just felt strongly that we
Mhm.
needed to just lay everything down and worship God.
Mhm.
And so, Joanna, we're praying, everybody's having their moments, and Joanna comes in and says, God says there's a oppression. We need to pray against oppression. Okay. And so I said that, church, we need to come against oppression. There's somebody in here needs to be free from oppression. Something's happening. So we start praying. Everybody's worshiping, praying, and things. Um, some time went by, a little bit, worship, and everything just died down. Said, okay, let's move on. And so we started moving on to announcements, and
Mhm.
that. And a lady that she just started coming to church on Sunday,
Mhm.
she says, I have a testimony. If I don't know how, if it's allowed, but I have a testimony. So what happened? She says, I came in and I feel like as we were praying, I was freed from depression. I said, praise God. God did something in her. Had we just stopped the service and gone on with our own agenda, that
Mhm.
wouldn't have happened. I
Right.
said, we're going to be a church that allows the Spirit of God to move
Mhm.
how He wants.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter the agenda.
Right.
Of course, we'll get back to things that need to be done,
Right.
but God's first.
Yeah.
He's going to
Amen.
do that.
Amen. You were a great pastor. I think you're a much better pastor than I am when it comes to the term, pastorship. You're very connected to the people. You have a way of being there for them when they need somebody way better than I have that as far as instinct goes. So I really admire that about you, Pastor. Even while you were still here with
Mm.
me, by the time I got to the hospital to visit somebody, you had already been there 3 or 4
Yeah,
times. Somebody would say they needed to talk to me, and by the time I got around to say, "Hey, okay, I can talk now," I said, "Oh, it's okay. I already talked to
yeah,
Pastor
yeah.
Leroy." And so there is a different spirit, same spirit. Let me say
Right,
that. Let
right.
me fix that. Different personality,
Mhm.
different strengths
Yes,
um, that are going into that
yeah,
church. And I think that's exactly what happens with even our children. Our children are not us.
right,
They have our DNA,
right,
but they have their own personalities, and they may have some parts and
right.
some traits that will come out stronger. But then you'll see some things like, where in the world did that come from?
Yeah,
Um, and I believe that that's what is happening at the church there as well.
yes,
It's not a clone of of the Robstown Bridge Church, it is like this, we're saying baby. It is a child, perhaps, if you will, just to use those analogies, but that will have its own individual personality, and it may resemble in some areas our Robstown Bridge Church, but it will be unique and it'll be its own church. And and the people there, we're blessed with the people that are there that have jumped right into what God is doing, and they're picking up the torch and continuing to go strong. So excited about all that, Pastor. Any final words before we close?
No, I thank God for the opportunity for being able to go out there and to Atlas and share the gospel in Atlas, and that's all attributed to you, your leadership. I thank God for you. And before it was like, man, why can't I do that? And you mentioned that you look at me and you feel better, I'm a better pastor, but I think, and I look at you the same. That's what I want. But I understand now that there are differences, but the same vision. We're still connecting people to God.
Right.
It's the Bridge Church.
Right.
It's something where I say it's the Bridge Church. I hear Bridge Church Robstown, Bridge Church Alice, but it's Bridge Church. To me, it's going to be Bridge Church. Same vision.
West side, east side.
Connecting people to God, bro.
Yeah, so we're actually looking forward to Palm Sunday. We're gonna be having a picnic out there together. Amen. So we'll be joining the churches, the congregations.
Yes.
Having a good time. Looking forward to it. No se van a pelear nada.
It's exciting. No, it's exciting. No.
Wear the colors, or we're gonna wear.
We're gonna orange, burn
orange. So, Pastor Leroy, thank you for joining me in the den. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for the invitation.
I want we do it again.
Appreciate it.
Yes, definitely. Conversation continue outside of here, and believing for God to do many more great and mighty things in our midst. So once again, thank you for joining me in the den.
Thank you, Pastor.